So this here is a call for all Nigerian nurses, both those who are currently practicing in Nigeria, those in diaspora, those who are still studying like the student nurses, and even the retirees, those who have just been retired from nursing profession. This is a call for us all to come together, unite in our force, join our voices together and try to help the future of nursing in Nigeria. Because this new law that has been brought on by the Nursing and Midwifery Council in Nigeria, it's not going to actually tell well on nurses of Nigeria. And if we don't come together to at least try to stop it or even try to adjust this law, then I don't think we have anybody to blame apart from ourselves. Hello everybody, my name is Adama Patricia Moses. I'm a Nigerian, but I'm currently practicing as a nurse here in the UK. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about the new NMC laws as regards verification of certificates and being able to relocate outside the shores of Nigeria to go practice as a nurse. Now, ideally, every country, before you're able to relocate to any part of the world where you want to go and practice nursing, you're supposed to be verified by the country where you primarily studied the course. So let's say I'm in Nigeria and I want to travel to Singapore to practice nursing. I want to travel to Canada to practice nursing. The Nursing and Midwifery Board in these countries will expect Nursing and Midwifery Board of Nigeria to send them a verification to let them know that I'm of good standing before they will even look at my application. In a situation where the Nursing and Midwifery Council in your country, that let's say in Nigeria at this point, has refused to send that verification over, it simply means that you will not be able to go ahead to practice in that country. So that's just like a background story, just in case you're not a nurse and you're watching this video. I'm trying to understand why all the fuss. Okay, so this is just a little background story. So it simply means that without that verification, you're going nowhere. In today's video, I'll tell you all about this new rule, how it's going to affect the future of nursing in Nigeria, and how the nurses at present are taking this. Are they happy about this? Are they sad about this? Are they rejoicing or not? Is this something good? Is this something worth celebrating, or is this something worth frowning at? So without wasting much time, let's go right into today's video. As we all know, there have been like a massive exodus of nurses, not just from Nigeria, but from so many countries outside into the first world countries, like the likes of UK, Canada, Australia, US. Of recent, there have been so many nurses migrating to these countries to go and practice as a nurse. Now, right? A lot of countries are trying to look out ways on how they can reduce the number of persons actually migrating out of their country, because presently they all seem to have this shortage of manpower in their own country. So Nigeria right now is experiencing a shortage of manpower, a shortage of nurses, a shortage of doctors in Nigeria. So I'm sure they are looking out for ways to try to reduce the number of nurses migrating outside Nigeria to go practice as a nurse. That is not a problem. That is quite understandable. But now what is a little bit difficult for everybody to understand is the laws that have been put in place regards this exact situation. I'm going to read out the new outline for verification, and we're just going to take it step by step to understand exactly why nurses presently in Nigeria are not having this new rule, why nurses are not excited, why nurses are actually calling for a peaceful protest at this point. So if you're a nurse and you're watching this video, please take your time to watch it, because we are going to talk all about these new rules, and at the end of it we'll decide, is it actually the best way to go about this? Is it the best thing to be doing at this point in time, or are there other ways they will be able to adjust to try to make these changes without it being this brutal on other individuals? So let's go right into the exact document that was released. And now this circular memo is coming out from the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, and it was published on the 7th of February 2024. I'm just going to skip all the directors and go right into exactly what the message is all about. So it says the revised guideline for verification of certificates with the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Okay, so the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria hereby inform you of the revised guidelines and requirements to be met by all applicants seeking for verification of certificates to foreign nursing board councils. Number 1, applicants are to visit the portal and do your verification online. Okay, that's a welcome development. That's nice. Then number 2, a non-refundable fee per application shall be paid for verification to foreign boards of nurses as specified in the portal. That's okay. We all know we pay for this verification. That's all right. Then number 3, this is where people are beginning to be uncomfortable. Eligible applicants must have a minimum of 2 years post-qualification experience from the date of issuance of permanent practicing license. Any application with provisional license shall be rejected outrightly. Now let's begin to talk from here. Any eligible nurse must have at least 2 years experience before being able to even apply. Now your 2 years does not begin to count from when you're qualified, right? 2 years counting from when you receive your permanent nursing license. If I recall clearly, I passed my nursing council. From the date when I passed my nursing council to when I finally received my permanent nursing license was around 8 months. So in essence, this is almost 3 years. So before they will begin to count is from the date when you actually received your permanent nursing license, not from when you passed your exams, okay? Or not from when you got the notification that you've passed. From when you received your permanent nursing license is when the 2 years begins to count. It's okay for people who are happy to stay back in Nigeria. There are a lot of persons who are okay, who don't even want to leave out the shores of Nigeria, who are happy there to get a job and practice there in Nigeria. But there are also a lot of nurses whose main goal or whose main aim of struggling so hard to pass their exams, of doing everything so that they will want to go and practice outside. And now this can be a personal decision, so they don't even owe you any explanation. They don't have to explain to you why they are choosing to go practice outside. It's up to them. Now you're asking this person to wait for 2 years post qualification before they can even consider to apply for any form of verification. So the question I'm asking is, what is your plan for that 2 years when you're asking them to hold on? Some persons are saying, oh, they'll be doing their youth service or they'll be doing their housemanship. How long does it take to get a spot for housemanship in Nigeria? I know people who have waited 2 years to get a spot for housemanship in Nigeria. Yes, just to get a spot to be able to do a housemanship. Let's not even talk about getting a job. But we do know that there are certain countries where upon graduation, you're supposed to stay back in the country and give back to the country, work for a period of time before you actually do a travel out if you so wish. But if you check where in those countries, those are countries where these nurses are being trained by the country. They didn't have to pay tuition fees. They didn't have to pay school fees. They didn't have to pay for accommodation. Literally everything was done free. So at the end of the day, you can expect to say, yes, you have to stay back, work in this country for a period of time before you're allowed to go out. But in the case of Nigeria, that was not our case. Okay, situation. There was no scholarship whatsoever. So parents had to literally pay all through, or people had to sponsor themselves through their nursing, either in the private university, in the school of nursing, or even in the federal universities. Okay, and at the end of the day, you say they are not allowed to leave until 2 years post receival of their original license. Now, the question I have for NMC Nigeria is, what is the plan for these nurses for that period of 2 years? What plan is in place for them? Do you have plans for them to get job, or are you just going to leave them, abandon them to roam around the streets, searching from one private hospital to another private hospital in search of a job for 2 years to go by? What is the plan? Let us know what is the plan, because if there isn't any solid plan, then this exact memo does not make much sense to me. In my case, upon graduation, I spent more than 4 years searching for a job in a government hospital. I searched all over my state. I searched all over my husband's state. I searched all nearby states. There was no slot for me to be employed. Bear in mind, I had my certificate as a registered nurse. I had my certificate as a registered midwife, as a registered public health, and I even had a BSc degree. I still could not secure a job. Okay, maybe there are some persons who found it easier to secure a job, but majority of Nigerian nurses did not find the job process easy. That is why more than half of us were stuck in the private hospital. Okay, we were all stuck. They are receiving change. Okay, you don't even want to know how much I was being paid for that period of time when I was working in the private hospital before I eventually decided to proceed to travel outside Nigeria. And it took me less than 6 months to do my exam, do my verification, do everything to finally leave the shores of Nigeria. Yes, less than 6 months. Meanwhile, as a Nigerian, I spent over 3 years trying to secure a job in Nigeria. So weigh these two things and tell me why you think it's a good idea to stop somebody who wants to go and better his life outside and tell the person, no, you're not allowed to go, you have to stay here for 2 years without any concrete plans in place for that person. No, NMC Nigeria, that doesn't sit well with Nigerian nurses. You have to do better. Now let's go over to the next point that is very, very uncomfortable with a lot of nurses. It's the number 4 point that says the council shall request a letter of good standing from the chief executive officer of applicant's place of work and the last nursing training institution attended, and responses on these shall be addressed directly to the registrar, Nursing and Midwifery Council. Please note that council does not accept such letters through the applicants. Now, this is another part. Nurses in Nigeria are not comfortable, and I understand them 100%. Okay, if you're opportune to be working in the government hospital, that is fine, because probably the director or the registrar is, somebody way higher. somebody way higher who can of course just give you like this later, right? But if you're working in the private sector like I did before I left, you notice that the doctor or the owner of the hospital, who is the doctor, is the director, is the manager, is everything, because of course this is his business. Okay, so now in this era of shortage of nurses, you expect him to happily, excitedly give you a certificate of good standing and maybe write to the NMC and say, oh, Nurse Ada has been such a wonderful nurse, I hereby I'm sorry, this is not funny. I hereby nominate her to be able to go on with her career. My goodness, this is 2024. NMC, don't do this to nurses. Don't do this to the future of nurses. Don't take us back. This is not a slave and master situation. Don't do that. Don't place nurses in a situation where their future or their future plans have to be dependent on one individual somewhere because they are working in a private hospital. I don't think you thought this through to this point, but probably because you don't walk down like in the grassroots points, you don't understand this part of it. Okay, I worked in the private hospital and I do understand that it was the owner of the hospital's decision for everything. So what if he writes something awful to NMC Nigeria, because the letter cannot come through me. They are not going to accept. They specifically said they will not be accepting letter from the applicant. It has to come directly from this doctor or this CEO direct to NMC Nigeria. What are you doing, NMC guys? What are you doing? Nothing is trying to come up. Nothing is trying to stand up. We're trying to make our voices heard. And at this point, it feels like NMC Nigeria, the exact body that should be protecting our voices, is trying to subdue the voices and probably take us back to the dark eras. That doesn't sit well with me. No, it doesn't. And not just me. It doesn't sit well with a lot of nurses also in Nigeria. That is why there's been like a serious call for a protest. That even if you do meet all these criteria, if you do meet all these things, bear in mind that verification takes nothing less than 6 months. Yes, it's going to take them nothing less than 6 months to officially verify you. So if you do meet all these things after spending the extra 2 years post receival of your license and you're opportune to get a CEO that gives you a good recommendation, you still have to give them at least 6 months to officially verify your license, which was originally issued by them. NMC Nigeria, you need to do better, guys. You need to do better. This is watching this video at this time. I want you to give me like some comments, some suggestions of what you think NMC Nigeria should rather do. NMC Nigeria should rather put in place on how to tackle like the exact movement of nurses out of Nigeria. What are some of the ways you think they can actually put in place to make that happen, aside from outrightly doing exactly what they're trying to do? I think that one of the major reasons why nurses seem to leave the shores of Nigeria outside, number one, is for better working environments. It's for better pay. Yes, as a nurse in Nigeria, before I left Nigeria, the last salary I earned was around the 50,000 naira. Yes, 50,000 naira with all my qualifications in nursing. I earned 50,000 naira before I left Nigeria. And there are nurses who are earning way less. Okay, so you don't expect people after studying, spending this amount of money studying nursing, you expect them to come and be earning this peanuts and you expect them to be happy and stay put. They will not. So one of the major things you can do is try to see how you can get these people to get better. Another major thing which I feel NMC Nigeria should also look into is maybe create a pathway where nurses can immediately be employed into the government facilities. It's not like these facilities are fully saturated with nurses. No, they still have vacancies, but this employment is just not forthcoming. Okay, if NMC Nigeria can try to liaise with the government on how to create a pathway for nurses to be able to maybe transition after their exams, after their youth service, or after qualification and all that, to be able to transition over to get a job and secure a job and begin to work. Just maybe they might find the job comfortable enough and then will not be in a hurry to want to leave the shores of Nigeria. But in a situation where you've not considered these nurses, you've not given them job opportunities, you've not done anything for them this period, you just stand up out of the blue and you're saying, oh, you're no longer allowed to go out. That is very, very unfair. That's very, very unfair, because NMC Nigeria should be a body that should actually be protecting the standing in our way of wanting to better ourselves, wanting to progress our careers and all that. Okay, That doesn't seem well. So if you're not, you're watching this video, please leave a comment on the comment section on suggestions or things you think NMC Nigeria should do or should have done to be able to help tackle this outflux of nurses out to other countries. And I do hope you've already liked this video. I do hope you've already subscribed to this channel. Don't also forget to share this video. Please share this video widely. Let it reach to a wide audience. Okay, let it reach to a wide audience. We are trying our best to make our voices heard in the appropriate offices, so they can be able to call a meeting and probably sit down and see what can be done. So please share this video to as far as you can. And if you're presently not in Nigeria, probably in diaspora, please, you do have a platform. Try to use your platform. Try to call them out in any platform which you have, because we need to have caution as regards this circular before it eventually goes into place. So this circular is officially supposed to go into place on the 1st of March 2024. 1st of March 2024. And like I've already said, the nurses in Nigeria are not having it. The biggest nursing platforms in Nigeria, you have the Nursing World Nigeria. Somebody there has left a letter to nurses where they say, "Dear nurses, on the new verification process by NMCN, we all have to come together as a united front and fight this. We should be ready to part with our money, time, and also the active engagement of all people and offices that will be of great help. This is not a time to lament, complain, or talk. Our talk must be followed with tactical actions to ensure circular is nullified, and we have a new one that is in touch with the realities of the typical Nigerian registered nurse." Okay, that's the whole point. Like, we are not against having new circulars to better the profession, but these circulars should be in touch with reality. Okay, it should be in touch with reality. All right, so they are calling for nurses to come together, to put their hands together, to see that their voices are heard. And right now there is already a peaceful protest that is planned in Abuja for the 12th of February 2024. So if you're a nurse in Nigeria, you're a student nurse in Nigeria, you're a retiree in Nigeria, and you want to go out, you can go out to Abuja. You reach out. Their numbers, I'll be leaving this page also. You can call the numbers, find out where this protest is taking place somewhere in Abuja. Join them, reach out, because this is not just about the nurses who are trying to travel out now. It's also about the future of nurses in Nigeria, because I feel like NMCN is trying to push us back instead of bringing us forward. Okay, they need to do better. They need to try to improve the profession instead of trying to bring it down. So if you're out here in diaspora, please lend out your voices. If you're watching this video, share it to all the nurses which you know that can come across it. And even if you're not a nurse, please help us blow this video. Okay, help us blow this video. It's not a crime for us to study nursing. It's not a crime for us to want to travel out and go better professions. It's not a crime for us. It's not a crime. Okay, this is democracy. It is not a crime. People do have the ability to make decisions for themselves, and if people decide that they want to go to a certain place to practice, a certain place to better their life, a certain place for the sake of their family, NMC Nigeria should not be in a position to stop them from doing that, or begin to create such laws that are going to hinder their progress, or laws like this that will outrightly slow their progress, which is not very welcoming. Okay, so make sure you share this video, make sure you like, make sure you already subscribe, and hopefully we're able to reach a solution soon. Don't forget to leave your comments and give suggestions, because I'm sure this eventually will be able to compile all this and maybe send it to NMC Nigeria and see if it makes any difference. And until next time, I will see you again. Bye bye.